So we're at the top of the hour, and you probably noticed that Katie's not here. So Katie is on a trip, and I reached out to her last night and said, hey, would you like to rest on your vacation? And so, yeah, just with the timing and everything, she's somewhere where this timing is a little bit trickier. So, so today I will be leading our practice. So I want to welcome everybody to our weekly Love in Action, where we play with the tools of loop of awareness and love scoops. And when I started tuning in, and by the way, if this is your first time here, welcome. Katie is usually leading this practice. My name is Michele Yasuda, and I have a various roles, but my favorite is as a Big Leap coach and bringing the Hendrix world out to the world in many different ways. So when I started to tune into this morning, the first thought I had was the second thing that I'm going to do today. And the second thought I had was the concept of speaking from discovery, which in the Hendrix world used to be called the unarguable truth. And I know that Katie's been moving more into the zone of speaking from discovery rather than the unarguable truth, because we argue about truth now so much. And so coming away from that word truth, even though I do find myself using it, I wanted to play this morning with looping with speaking from discovery. And really, for me, that's about saying what I feel is true, what is true for me in this moment. And so what I want to invite everyone to do is to tune into yourself right now. You might notice your breath. I love to start with noticing my breath. And maybe if you are noticing your breath, you notice that it changes as you put some attention on it. That's what happens for me. As soon as I say breath, my breath deepens, smooths out a little bit. And let yourself just wander around your inner world, noticing sensations, noticing feelings that might be present. And then, since everybody's muted, let yourself speak out loud something that feels true to you in the moment, something that you're discovering in the moment. As I'm tuning into my inner world, I notice energy bubbling. Ooh, I'm leading a practice today. So there's a little bit of, it feels like more like bubbles coming up than what I used to experience, which was absolute freeze whenever I would lead any kind of call or in-person gathering. So I'm appreciating that I notice, oh, my body is relatively calm with some energy moving through it. And then let yourself loop out. So bring your awareness out. It might be in this Zoom space with each other. It might be something around you. And then once again, name something that you're discovering as you're giving your sensitive awareness around you. What is it that you're discovering as you're tuning into the world around you? And something I'm noticing is I can still feel the bubbling inside of me as I'm noticing different objects that I keep around me that create a smile inside of me as I look around my office space. And then once again, bring your awareness back to yourself and see what else you notice. And if you were to speak from that place of discovery, what would that be? You can speak that out loud if you'd like. It might be naming a sensation, a feeling. I just noticed a little feeling of tightness in my back after a 5-hour drive yesterday, coming back from a family trip. So I see my body's going to want to move more today. And then once again, bringing your awareness out to the space around you or to the Zoom room. You might notice someone on this call, someone in our community. And what do you notice as you're bringing your awareness out? I'm noticing the beautiful lighting around Elena, like a bright, that matches your smile right now. Then the other idea, the first idea that popped into my head was appreciation, adding appreciation to our loop. And so I invite you to tune into yourself and notice what's asking to be appreciated right now. And let yourself feel that sense of appreciation, looping your appreciation to whatever it is that's calling for some noticing, some of your sensitive awareness. I'm noticing my back and how I appreciate that it holds me up and is willing to sit for 5 hours in a car if needed, and that I can move a little bit and bring some energy and open up some space. And then once again, allow your attention to move outside of you to someone in this space with us or somewhere around the environment that you're in. And when you land on something, let yourself appreciate it. Add some appreciation. And notice what happens in your body as you're appreciating something. And I notice for me, a feeling of love begins to rise. And so I'm going to scoop some of that love from myself and bring it out to that item that I was appreciating or that person that I was appreciating. So scooping up some of that love and bringing it out. And then I notice that I can see the love, and I'm going to go ahead and scoop, and I invite you to do the same. Scoop some love from that space that you've been appreciating and bring that on back to you. And then going back to the speaking from discovery, what is it that you're noticing? What's something that you're noticing that you can speak out loud from your exchange of energy and appreciation? How has that impacted you in your body, in your mind, in your heart? I notice a soft kind of energy waving. Yeah, it feels like this. I'm going to invite you to do that, maybe modify or match what it is that you're noticing right now, so we can share our discoveries with each other without words. I notice whenever I do this, it begins to grow and change. I don't have to magnify it. It magnifies. Building energy. And then I invite you to scoop up some love from this energy field that we've been creating together. Maybe even tuning in with someone here, or you can tune in with your inner world and just reaching out and noticing what wants a scoop of love. What part of you would like to have a little bit of loving attention and energy? And I notice as I allow myself to speak from discovery, rather than saying what I think is true, saying what I know is true, to actually speak from what is bubbling up in the moment for me, feels like that brings me home. That brings me a sense of connection, a sense of peace inside of myself. It's a feeling of, Now I'm going to turn my attention to today's Presence Connect play. And I went ahead and pressed it for a combo. So this is an app, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, on the Foundation for Conscious Living's website, and I'll post a couple of links afterwards. So stay on the call if you want some links. This is an app that you can use. It's really simple, and it's a wonderful way to practice presence. Every day you can pick something new to play with. So what I got here today was essence pace to be aware of you, aware of me, and aware of the other. And that essence pace for me was, I would say, breath and essence pace were the game changers for me in my life. I grew up on the East Coast in a family that's very proud of being able to move fast in the world. And that grew this, and I have an ability to move fast. And so the combo of an ability to move fast and getting the message that fast is good really landed in what I often will say is rushing through the first 50 years of my life, until I met Katie Hendricks, and she taught me the concept of a pace that's actually in alignment with my essence, with who I truly am. And so maybe we can all together tune in right now. Are you moving at a pace that feels alive in you? Do you feel that energy force moving through you as you're noticing people around you? Do you feel that sense of here-ness? Or do you feel, for me, it can either be a little bit of a heaviness, or I'm not quite here. And that might be like a slowing down of my natural essence pace. Or I might be moving so fast that I'm not noticing anyone around me, or I feel a little bit ahead of everybody. So just tuning in with, what does it feel to love scoop at your essence pace? What is that like? And trying different speeds to see what feels good if I'm. So play with some, yeah. And then like very slowing it down. And I noticed that my essence pace, like everything else, is determined by my context. So if I'm walking on the beach, I might have a little bit of a more leisurely pace than if I am walking on the streets in New York City, where I'm feeling that aliveness, I'm feeling that connection, but it's a quicker pace than I would want to on the beach. So it does, I find I have a range, and it's never the rush that I was doing for the first half of my life or so, 50 years of my life. So, okay. And so then when we turn to connect, which is today turning toward, what I notice is that if I'm here and I am fully present, I am turned towards whoever it is that I'm wanting to connect with, or whatever it is that I'm wanting to connect with, rather than the half flee. I'm here, but part of me wants to go in another room. So the practice of presencing by fully turning towards either my insides or someone around me helps me to connect. So that's one of my favorites. And then play today is fear melters. So I invite you all to play with all 4 fear melters. I'll do one at a time. So oozing is when we're moving like seaweed in the ocean, or hot fudge melting on some ice cream. I like to imagine balloons tied to my wrists and having them floating. And oozing is something good to do if you're feeling tight and fighty. So the next one is root. So root is for when we're feeling like we want to get out of there, we feel trapped in our head, worrying about the future or the past. So coming down, feeling our feet. So I invite you to feel your feet on the ground. And imagine that you're rooted and that there are energetic roots coming out of your feet. I am here. Here I am. I am right where my body is. And then we've got wiggles. So when you're feeling frozen, a little bit stiff, stuck, wiggles are my most natural fear melter. I think my body does a wiggle most of the day. I'm sure that my teachers didn't like that when I was a young student, because I'm sure I was moving. So that's the wiggle. I like trying new places to wiggle. And then the last one, which we've already been practicing, is love scoops. And love scoops are a wonderful way to reconnect with the world around us or ourselves when we're feeling that faint disconnect. So I am scooping in some appreciation for all of you for being with me today. Katie is well and happy and on a trip to Chicago at the moment. She'll be back, I think, in a couple of days. And I'm appreciating that she can travel, that Gay is well enough now. He had an accident of his leg, and so he's doing so well. And really appreciating all of you for being part of this community. And like I said, I'll put some links in the chat when I finish the call. So if you want to stay on, And also, if you'd like to stay on and have a community conversation, we're going to be continuing the energy of looping and scooping with each other as we have a big talk conversation. So thank you so much for being with me today. And I will see you all after the call or next week. Thank you so much.